So can we call for a roll call, please?
Of course, Mayor. Councilmember Snyder? Councilmember Snyder will start, will participate shortly. Councilmember Holliver will also participate shortly. Councilmember Fung?
Here.
Vice Mayor Pappen?
Here.
Mayor Oliva?
Here. Okay, let's all-
Councilmember
oh,
Holliver?
Present.
All right. Four members of the council is in attendance.
Thank you. Councilmember Pappen, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm gonna have to practice that one with you next time, though. You missed a few words. All right, I'm gonna look for public comment for anything that is from the public with regards to with regards to our council going into closed session, or anything for that matter. Do we have anybody from the public on this?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do. I see Rochelle. Rochelle, did you have any comments?
No, I'm just observing, that's all.
Okay, so Rochelle, we're going to adjourn and go into close meeting, and we shall return shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is that a different Zoom?
No.
Okay.
So you are being placed in a close, in the breakout room.
And I just want to make it clear to council, and I'll remind you again, once we go out of this breakout room back into regular council meeting, nothing is unrecorded.
They're actually, most of them are actually in the breakout room already, Mayor.
Then
So
we'll
you may have to
make sure
repeat it
they
in
know
there.
again. All right.
Okay, thank you. All right, Rochelle, we'll admit you back into the meeting at 6:30 or around that time, okay?
That's fine.
Thank you. So everyone, just a reminder, please keep yourself muted. I'll also make sure we're muted here. Good evening, everyone. So council is returning to the session here. So if you could give us a moment, and once the mayor call the meeting back to order, we'll get started. Good evening, everyone. So the meeting for tonight is continuous. The council met in closed session, and now the council is returning back to the regular session, and the mayor will call the meeting to order in just a few minutes.
Elaine, you could say when we have a quorum, but it's hard to tell because everybody's on.
Okay, I will, if I could just do a quick check with all the council members. Councilmember Snyder, are you here? I see a thumbs up.
Present.
All right, Councilmember Oliver. Okay, Councilmember Fung.
Yep.
Okay. Vice Mayor Pappen.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. All right, let me go ahead and contact Councilmember Oliver. Just a moment. Councilmember Halliburton, when you're ready. Oh, there you are. All right, all council members are present. And I just want to state for the record, Councilmember Snyder actually joined the closed session at 6:07 p.m. tonight.
Okay, so can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with, we go to public comment. Any public comment before we go to our first agenda item? Yes,
Madam
Mike.
Mayor, we should report out a closed session.
Thank you.
Just note the city council met in closed session, discussed real estate negotiations, and direction was given to the city's negotiators.
Okay. So with no public comment, I don't see anything. Kathy Citron, can I turn this over to you and we can get started and finished, right? You're muted, Kathy.
Sorry about that. Yes, let's get this finished. You all have done a lot of work. And I was doing a slight bit of fun analysis that I'll just review with you right now before we get into it, which is based on the original questionnaire of things that you thought were important to the city, and there are many, and they all are wonderful. You started with 95 items on these strategic initiatives, 95. We combined some of them after the first meeting, after comments, and got down by 14 to 81. Then we took off those with no vote or one vote. And the staff did that after the last meeting. We are now down to 30, which is helpful. What our goal is 9 or 10 to be realistic in terms of having the budget money to do what you'd like to do and do it well, and so forth and so on. You know far better than I what that means. So with that in mind, at 30, if we if we had just counted those that had 5 or more votes, and we may end up voting again, but let me just take you through this real quick. If we took off those that had 3s and 4s, and left the 5 or higher, we'd have 22 items still on the initiatives, about more than twice as many as we really want at the end of this session. If we just counted the 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s, nothing lower than 6, we'd have 14. That also includes the reimagining the El Camino, which is ongoing. It didn't have too many votes, but it's ongoing, so we have to leave it in. So now we have a choice. We can do 5 or higher and revote. We can take off the 5s and go to 6 through 9. We're still going to have to get rid of a few. Then I counted, just for fun, those that had 7, 8, and 9 votes, plus the El Camino, and it gave us 10. So we can do any, the world is our oyster, I wish. But in order to get this done in a timely manner, and I'm sure maybe there's somebody out there that wants to watch the Warriors game, I don't know, but hopefully you're recording it. We can start with our 22, we can start with our 30, and everybody can vote again. It's just that by doing that, we have created a longer process. So could I get a vote on, can we go with either 5 or higher and revote, which is 22? Then my next and perhaps better would be 6, those that have 6 to 9 points, which is 14 of them, and we still have to get rid of about 9. Or should we just go and take those that are 8, 9s, 8, 7, 8s, and 9s, and then we're done with it? You might want to look at that. I mean, I'm giving you lots of options. So let's first just go around the room and get an opinion on which direction to go because we still have 30. We need 9 or 10.
Can we start with Councilmember Schneider?
Yes, please.
Okay, in the past, it's been what, since Tom joined us, we've had the 6 initiatives. We have always had 3, at least 3, or no more than 3 under each initiative, which would be 18, and now you're telling us 9. And the problem I've had with this process, and Kathy, to be honest, the problem I had last year is that some of these things are goals, they're kind of lofty, and some are very specific actions, and we never get into that level of detail. So if we look at just the first one, if we do not do number 3, which only received 5 votes, we have a moratorium, a temporary moratorium on artificial turf. But to go with that, to go with that, we have to have the landscape guidelines to encourage our residents, instead of plasticizing the front of Millbrae, that they use these landscape guidelines. So we've got other actions that aren't on here, but these support actions that we're currently in the work with. So I really don't see why we can't have 3 in each category. That's what we've done in the past.
I'd just like to clarify one thing, Anne, and that is number 3, I have 6 votes, Millbrae Local Density Bonus Program. Are you on S?
No, I'm looking at SI1 just as an example. SI1, number 3, 5 votes.
Okay.
And it's also been mentioned in the general plan, those meetings. It's critical for the artificial turf moratorium, and it is critical in dealing with any of the agencies that are doing their own EIRs. We have no way to protect ourselves without these historic guidelines. Period. No way. No way. We may as well drop out of Airport Noise Roundtable, because they will continue to go from 57 million passengers to 71 million passengers until no one in Millbrae can sleep.
Now,
So I
I'd
don't
like-
like going down tonight.
Okay.
There's my,
Okay, and I hear you, and I would like Tom's comment on this because I think there are several things at stake here. But I do a lot of planning sessions. They usually are 1.5 to 3 days. So we're trying to accomplish in a few hours what could be a much more in-depth analysis of all of this. And I agree with you. There are many things here that are very important, but I do think people's votes count as well. And some people see this differently. So I'm trying to come up with, where can we get, nobody's going to be totally happy. It's the, it's part of life, that's true. And so let's go around the room once more and say, and then, so what I'm hearing from you is we should vote again. Does anyone disagree with that?
no, I didn't say that. I said we take the top 3 as we have done every year for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay. I've been here the last 3 years and I'm glad to do that. We can take the top 3, but then we still have too many because the city cannot afford to do these top 3. Tom looked at this afternoon. I spoke with him about it. Tom, do you want to come in here and chime in on this, the challenge that you meet financially with this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have a lot, as the council knows, and I think the community knows, a lot already in the pipeline that we're working on. And I think that anytime you go through a goal setting, we want it to be realistic and we want to be able to accomplish the goals that are adopted by the city council. And so, as Kathy mentioned, we sat down and studied this, and given where we are fiscally, given where we are with implementing the other goals from previous years, we felt that, realistically, 10 to 12 of these goals we could implement, right? And so I just don't want to set up any false expectations or unrealistic. I don't want to set ourselves up for failure. And so that's why we're looking at this and recommending, to the council, let's keep it manageable, let's keep it real, and let's keep it, something that we can actually achieve.
We could take the first 2 in every section, and then that's 12, and then vote which ones we should take off to get down to 10.
That makes a lot of sense. Am I calling on people, Kathy, or are you? Because we have Councilmember Fung and we have
I
Vice
see
Chair.
that. Yes, okay, Anders, why don't you go next and because you're next on my screen, and then I'll go to Gina.
Yeah, thank you. So, not every priority on here between SI1 to SI6, not all of them are the same scope and size. Some are more concise, some are more well-defined, and some are a bit open-ended. And with those, it's not just a sheer number of, oh, this is two priority, it's 2 items in each priority versus 3 items in each priorities. There might be some priorities in here that you're probably not going to get done in a year, even though if you've spent a whole year focusing on that, because there's a lot of external factors that need to come in. So I think, those are some of the key consideration that we need to have. I don't mind having 3 in each category, and then we do the best we can to get it done. I mean, I still remember there are some of the priorities that we set last year that still haven't gotten done, and I think some of those needs to continue, because we've said that they are important, and even though we haven't gotten it done because of COVID or whatever that reason is, that doesn't change the fact that they're important, and we need to focus on getting it done, even though we didn't get it done last year. So with that said, I think I'm comfortable with putting 3 in each category, and try to do and then discuss the scope on each one of them to make sure that they are something that can be accomplished within the year.
So what you're saying is we'll take the first 3 in each category and then vote on the most important in each category, or overall?
In each category, I think we can keep up to 3 in each category. And then, I see some category here has 5, some category has more than 5, right? And I see some does overlap as well. I see something that in SI5 that overlaps in SI2, for example. So some of these could be consolidated. So I'm comfortable with 3 in each category out of the one that is currently already on there.
But we cannot end up with 18 is the problem, because the city doesn't have the money for 18. So how will you resolve getting that number lower, getting that number in half perhaps?
Well, and I think I said that before, it's not a sheer number of how many of them, it's how concise they are. I think there are certain things that are more concise, certain other priorities a little bit more open-ended. So I think we should focus on getting, the more well-defined and concise one done. And some of them might carry, out more than a year.
Right. Okay, thank you. Gina?
Yeah. Looking at these, I understand completely. We have to bring them down here. Some of them, I was still like, so we're only doing the 4, 5, and 6, or are we doing everything?
We're doing all of them. We just can't get this all on the computer.
Yeah,
You want to go back to 1 through, thank you very much, Eduardo.
Okay, yeah. So I asked a question long ago. A Millbrae local density bonus. Okay, I'm still not sure what definition that is. So even if we're taking the top 2 here, I'm being asked to vote on something I'm not quite clear on.
Okay, let's do that right now. Before you go on, could we have a definition of the density bonus program?
I'm happy to articulate it a little bit more. I think those are the type of policy decisions that we need to be in. It's going to take legislation to get there. In trying to, that's an important part of reimagining what our downtown needs to look like in terms of density, in terms of housing shortages, how we become a solution to that, and transforming what our downtown needs to look like. It's part of our overall downtown specific plan that has already been in the work, so it's already working on it. This is something that would be a part of that solution. So this is not something new. It is new, but it's also something that we're already currently working on. It's already in discussions on. So this will need to get done one way or another as part of either as a listed goal here, or it would have to be part of the downtown specific plan.
And I apologize, I'm still unclear on this. We have specific densities required already that will come out in the specific plan as to different neighborhoods and what goes where. So I think this is already a part of the general plan process. I don't know that it needs to be a separate goal here, our initiative. That's why I was trying to get some further clarification here. Mr. Williams, would you like to clarify here? I mean, we have certain state laws that say, they're going to give you benefits or bonuses for the production of property along the transit corridor. What's going on here? I think we're getting into something we don't necessarily have to at this point in time.
Yeah, so remember, all these goals came from the council members themselves.
And that's why I'm asking for an explanation, and I've asked for an explanation for the last 2 meetings.
And then I do want to clarify that, if there is a Millbrae local density bonus program, that does need to be added, because right now that's not in the scope of our policy development of our specific plan or general plan. And
So
as I understand it, it would be modeled after the city of San Francisco, for example, that provides, based on their local density bonus program, more than what the state provides under state law. You're correct, Vice Mayor. The state does have a local density bonus program, but this would incentivize development and give exceptions up to, could be 25%, 50% affordability levels locally for additional incentives, where the state density housing bonus law maxes out at 15%.
Yeah, and this is also the piece where, if the developer would be able to use that, then they will use our local density bonus program instead of the state density bonus program, which we have no control of. This is the way for us to regain our local control so that we can put them back into CEQA review, so that we have more local control in terms of how we guide our development based on our local density bonus program, and at the same time giving the developer the assurance that they can get something done, because one of the greatest risks of development is the uncertainty. So if we have our own local density bonus program that guides our development, then it's a lot easier for us to incentivize these developers coming in our town and develop in a way that we wanted it. So that's why it is important.
Yeah, and I'll just put out there too, kind of what Kathy was saying and what I was saying, in the opening, is that all of these take time, research, legal review, design review. There is a cost to all of these, and also resources. So on something like this, again, legal research, time to develop the ordinance. I don't know, Mike Conran, if something like this would have to go to HCD and get their approval based on current laws. I would think so, because it would be part of our housing element if we were to say, okay, let's amend our housing element work program and add in, a local density bonus program. That's where I would think it would fit.
I think it could certainly be included there. I don't know if that's a huge, piece of work to do that. You're basically going to be sending them a housing element that describes all of your policies, both current and anticipated. So, no, I think it's just the details of developing your own program. I mean, obviously the state has a very comprehensive density bonus program. There are limitations to it, and it comes with, they get certain, benefits from it in terms of getting waivers and exceptions. So I don't think you're going to be able to take that away, but if if there's an option to perhaps be more generous in terms of units or height, there may be something to explore there.
And I don't, this, correct me if I'm wrong, council member, this is not taking away the state. This is adding to it. It's providing more incentive that, if say a developer comes in and wants to do 30%, affordability, and then there are additional incentives, right, that don't violate state law, obviously, but just rise above that, more than what the state allows.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get to an understanding here. I mean, somebody can actually come in here right now, and I think they already have, and said, we want to do 100% affordability, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I'm in a quandary here. If we establish further bonuses here, do we maintain control? Or are we getting into a position where, you're just giving things to a developer without maintaining a sustainability level for the city of Millbrae? So, I mean, it's just a complicated thing here. Our poor Kathy here just wants to know, do we want 1, 2, or 3? I get that. But
Well, I understand
Dana?
that.
Kathy, maybe, sorry to
Gina?
interrupt, maybe I
Yeah.
can help here. If the council is desirous, because I know this is hard and it's hard to budget to as well. But if you go that path, then what I would say is then once we get there, let's have a discussion then on priorities, right? That if as we go through the budget study session next Tuesday and start building our budget, that we know that, okay, of the 18 or whatever it is, here are your priorities and here's what we can fund, right? And then as we work on, those projects, if there is funding available, based on where we're headed, hopefully with an improved economy as we bounce back from the pandemic, we'll see additional TOT, we'll see additional revenue coming in and normalize here a little bit so we can evaluate that mid-year. But what I would like, is just what are the council's in top priorities under all?
Ruben, we
I
have,
just
Gina?
want to make one quick comment here.
Okay.
Sorry, Gina. So I just want to make one comment.
you're next, Dan. Just hold on.
Okay, it would have been easier had we known this going into tonight to determine how to proceed along these lines here. At this point in time is what, if Tom just suggested, we just take the top one from each and then go through the budget process and see if we can squeeze in something else is probably the only thing.
Let's be serious here for a second. If in fact, if in fact we were to take 2 from every category and we fulfill these goals, then we can always add goals. This just needs to be prioritized. So with that being said, why don't we just take 2 from each section and get it done, and we can add to our to-do list? They're not going to go away. They're just in a set. We're just putting them in order.
My
And
concern
through the
on
mayor?
that
One second.
is that we can do the
If you
project.
don't mind, let me call on people because
Sure, Kathy, go ahead.
it's difficult. And Ruben, you were speaking and then interrupted. So if you all would not interrupt, I'll make sure that everyone gets heard. It's really hard when we're on Zoom. Ruben,
Oh, I wasn't speaking, but
I'm sorry.
I do like that suggestion that the mayor had of picking the top 2 from each, just that we have, and we know what the highest priorities are. And like you said, the other items aren't necessarily going to go away. They're still somewhere on the list, but they're not necessarily the highest priorities for this year.
For the
I don't think
purpose
we
of
want to
the
keep coming
budget.
back and redoing these sessions every
Yes,
week or
exactly.
two. Right?
For the purpose of the budget, if you take the top 2, or you can re-vote for the top 2 in the whole group if you'd like. And then at least the city has something to work on for a reasonable budget. And I see a hand with a picture of a person that I don't know. And so is Public. And so, Mr. Public, I'm sorry you don't have a name, and so I don't know how to call on you, but your hand is up.
So Kathy, I think we need to organize this a little bit for calling on people. If you want to, why don't we decide on this first and then we can take public comment, if I could help out with that?
Thank you.
And
Okay,
that's this thing.
Anne has been anxious to add something to this. Anne?
Okay, going back to Gina's question, and I did hear back from a sustainable land use group that has been very helpful for us through this. And the example was 959 El Camino Real. I think this is the Trammell Crow project where they're only offering 10% BMR.
And
this is
I just, hey, Mike, we can't.
Stop it!
We can't have a public hearing on a project that's not noticed. It's going to be coming before the city council. So
Then let me finish, Tom. This is why I tried to get in touch with you all day today.
all I'm
because-
saying is do not talk about a project. that's
We're
not
talking in
publicly noticed.
hypotheticals.
The
there's-
hypothetical, a developer comes in, offers 10% BMR, but Millbrae has to provide affordable housing to meet our RENAs. If we have our own local BMR in conjunction with the state BMR, means that we might eventually opt out at 15%. Still nowhere going to help us get to our affordable housing goals, but that's the reason why the Millbrae specific BMR ordinance is important. Now, going back to the number 3, if we're dropping number 3, that we already have landscape architects working on the landscape guidelines. It's already in the hands of staff. It's already scheduled to come to community enhancement. So if you drop that from the list, what do? You drop work that's already been paid for?
Which one is that, Ann, if you
That's
don't?
SI1 number 3. And if we don't have objective design guidelines under SD9, we can't even have any say over how an SD9 project would come through. So historic architectural guidelines and or objective guidelines are all part of complying with SD9.
All right,
We cannot arbitrarily say the top 2 when we've got work in progress. And as Gina said, we've never gone through these to say which ones are in some form of partial completion.
Eduardo, would you do me a favor and pull up my principles of conversation slide?
Hey Kathy, just
Oh,
real quick, and
everybody.
I know Councilmember Snyder, this is difficult, but like I said, the work in progress is also costly because we have to finish it. There's still budget remaining. It still takes staff time and consultant time. So, that's the point.
And
I want to interrupt here for a second, Kathy, if you don't mind. I think that we need to stay on focus to the question that was asked. Council members, the question that was asked, do you want to take the top 3 or do you want to take the top 2? Ruben, Councilmember Holliber had consensus with me to take the top 2. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to take the top 2 of each category. And I'm hoping Councilmember Holliber can second that and we can go on for discussion.
I just had a quick question for the city manager specific to that question that Councilmember Schneider had. On SI1, if we can go back to that slide.
yeah, go back, please. Sorry.
Can the historic architectural and landscape guidelines be included with the general plan? Is it being included with the general plan in some way? If not, can it be?
So
Or would we be starting over from scratch?
yeah, no, so it is not included currently. It can be included, but then it is a rescope, an amendment to the contract to include this into the design guidelines.
In which case it won't be done by the end of this year. Most likely.
And do I think it's important? Yes. I mean, that's why I'm saying that, and that we'd have to go back if this is a priority, talk to our consultants and say, hey, can we fit this in between now and, end of October, early November for adoption? Because this specifically is historic architectural landscape guidelines.
Would it
Are
be
there-
helpful for you all to, if we take the top 3, which is 18, which really is untenable, I believe, this year, from what I understand, and vote again and take out, instead of 18, take out after the vote, the bottom 6 and end up with 12?
There's a motion on the floor
Sorry, I'm sorry.
to
Yeah.
take the top 2.
So you need to vote.
Well, no, we need a second or it's dead. But I don't want another idea until it's dead.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like it's dead. Councilmember Holliber, are you not going to second?
And I kind of like that idea from Kathy just now, but
I'm sorry. I just started something. Then perhaps
difficult.
perhaps, Madam Mayor, we should take the top three and then re-vote on the top three. And the bottom ones on that, the 6 bottom ones will.
So
be
if
set.
Councilmember Holliber is making that motion, I will second it.
Sure.
Okay, so may we please, before we call for the vote, I'd like to hear from the public. Nathan?
Yes, hi. I wanted to sort of provide some feedback to you all on 3 goals that I think would be really interesting to me to see the city focus on as a housing and climate advocate. I was very intrigued by the idea that Millbrae might be studying a local density bonus program. This type of program has been applied in cities like Cambridge and Berkeley to try to promote the production of 100% affordable housing projects. I think I'm really excited to see where this could go. I also think that the encouraging building electrification is a very interesting initiative. That we need to basically electrify all fossil fuel appliances today in order to have any hope of meeting our climate goals by 2030 or 2040. And so we need to figure out how do we promote more electrification. So I was excited to see that. And then finally, the development impact fees for public art, climate resiliency, and childcare. I have less to say about public art and childcare, but certainly on the climate resiliency front, we know just even in this year, how devastating the extreme weather coming to us from climate change is going to be. And so we need to improve our infrastructure to meet that challenge. So to me, again, I think the most interesting goals are the local density bonus program, encouraging building electrification, and the impact fees for public art, climate resiliency, and childcare. If those 3 are able to make it through the filtering process and voting process the council goes through, I'll be pretty happy. Thank you.
Nathan, thank you very much. So we have a motion and a second to pick the top 3 categories, and I would like to call for the vote, please.
There was no discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've heard from everybody.
And sorry, Kathy's suggestion was to pick the top 3 and then eventually get down to 12, though, right?
Perfectly.
We're going to
correct.
vote on the top 3. I mean, we're going to take the top 3 and vote our favorites of those. So
Perfect.
that, okay?
And
then
and
Then we will take off a few at the bottom end.
and Vice Mayor, we've had comments that I'd like to call for this vote first and then go on, and there'd be plenty of time for comments.
Point of order, top 3 initiatives or top 3 issues? It's
Do
2
you
different
mean-
things.
Top 3 out of each category.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Top 3 out of each category.
Does that
So
make- Is that make sense to everybody? Okay, let's call for the vote, please.
let me just make sure, Eileen, are you here? Eduardo?
Yeah, we're
Elaine?
here.
Okay, good.
Elaine's
Okay.
here and she will call for the vote.
Yes, and then, so I believe the motion was from Councilmember Holliber
Correct.
for top 3 of each category, and Mayor Aliva seconded.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're going to do this the same way.
Yeah.
3
Let
point
me go ahead and
number 1.
call the motion. Let me go and call the
Sorry.
vote first. Okay, Councilmember Snyder,
For the top 3 in each initiative, I vote yes.
okay, Councilmember Holliber,
Aye.
Councilmember Fung,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pappen.
No.
No. Okay. Mayor Aliva.
Yes.
All right. The council chose to choose the top 3 of each category, approved by the vote of 4-1 with Vice Mayor Pappen dissenting.
Perfect. Now, Kathy, we're going to take each and every one of these top 3 and have a discussion. Yes.
And yes, so would you like to pitch your top 3 And I don't mean just in one cat. Do you want to pitch your top one? Or should we know these pretty well now and we don't want to be here all night?
We don't want to be here all night, so you give us direction so we can
All
get.
right, let's go to the vote, you all. If you would, on SI one, let's do it the same way. See if it changes. It should. So three votes for your number one, 2 points for your number two, 1 point for your number three. So if you would give SI one and the say number one gets 3 points, number three gets 2 points, number two gets 1 point. If you could do that to make it easier for.
I'm sorry, Kathy, could you repeat that? I'm sorry. 3
We're
votes
gonna-
again? and
We're going to
3 points?
pretend like there are no votes on any of these at this moment in time. And we're going to re-vote just for these top three. Because that means that a vote you applied to number 6 can now be applied to number 1, 2, or 3.
And everybody has to apply one number to each one.
Madam Mayor, just real quick, because I
No
do want,
sandbagging.
I want, yeah,
Yes, Vice Mayor.
that's what I'm concerned about is sandbagging. I don't
All
know.
right.
what-
No,
All
we're
right,
doing,
we're gonna
you
stick
get a
to the
3 vote, you get a 2 vote, and you get a 1 vote. Bottom
Exactly.
line.
And we
All
just
right,
say you
let's-
get a first and a second, third is a 0.
Yeah, that's what.
There
I-
you
Makes
go.
more sense, but
All right, so how would you like to do it, Ruben? What was your suggestion? Would you clarify that?
2 points for your first choice, 1 point for your second choice.
2 points for your first choice, 1 point for your second choice. Okay, as opposed to the 3, 2, 1, we're doing
Yes.
2 points for first choice, 1 point for second choice.
So that's perfect.
All right, Gina,
Let's
let's
do it.
start with you. I know that you're not happy with the decision, but if you'd give your first choice in SI one,
Yes, I will. And just for point of fact here, my question was going to be because we don't know how many of these are already in progress. So I'm going with what you've decided here, but the fact that some of these were in progress is concerning. Okay, so my number one is number one.
okay,
Complete.
2 points.
Number two is, I guess, the local density. That's it.
Do you have that? You guys in the office? Okay, good, great, thank you. All right, Annie is next on my,
Same vote, 1 and 2.
great. And Anne. I can't see you.
3,
Councilmember Schneider.
3.
Number 3,
And it's ridiculous because we're 2/3 done with number 1. So 1.
so you said number 3 is your first
No,
choice,
3 is my only choice.
3 is your only choice.
Then we may as well drop out of airport noise roundtable because there is no way to protect Millbrae.
Councilmember Schneider, could we please get everybody's votes?
We're not this time and doing the 3, 2, 1, we're doing
I
2
said
votes.
3.
Okay,
Kathy, her vote is only for 1 and it's 3. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. All right, who's next?
Ruben,
Ruben,
First choice is number 1, second choice is number 2.
all right. Annie,
Anders,
Anders,
Number 2 and number 1, please.
okay, but Kathy, instead of getting the winners, can we just go to number 2 right away, please?
absolutely, absolutely. So do we have everybody's votes in?
Yes.
All right, number 2. Gina, you're at the top of my screen again. And you're muted.
I wasn't ready. I need a second.
Okay, I'll go. Annie Oliva, I'll go with number 1 and number 3.
Okay, thank you.
Anders,
I'll do the same, 1 and 3.
Ruben,
2 and 1.
Councilmember Schneider,
1 and 3.
Vice Mayor,
Oh, sorry, I am on. Okay, 2 and 3.
perfect.
Okay, number 3, SI 3. Ruben, can you go first?
One tie and one.
Okay, Anders,
One tie and one.
Ann Schneider,
One tie and one.
Gina, are you ready?
Those went too fast, sorry. Wait, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read this one, because you got one tie and two tie. I didn't. I can't figure out the top 3 here, I'm sorry.
Well, you can vote for 2 out of those 4, or because they're ties.
Shoot, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hold things up.
You better say 2 after the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I told you I was already there. Okay, 2 and 2 tie.
Okay, and Annie?
I'll do 2 and 2 tie.
Great. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Eduardo. All right, SI 4. 2 votes. Where should we start?
Ready.
You're ready. Okay, go, Gina.
Number 1.
Number 1 is your number 1.
Yeah, and number 2.
Good. Great. Thank you, Ruben.
1 and 3.
Great. Ann Schneider?
I hate to tell you, I just honestly don't give a damn anymore. 3 and 1.
Thank you. Gina?
I did it already.
Oh, you did it. Annie?
1 and 2.
Great. All right, moving on to SI 5.
That's not
I
even
think you
voted.
missed
We
Anders.
need to cut our phone.
You forget.
I'm so sorry, Anders. I better go with my alphabetical again. Here I go. Okay. What are yours?
Yeah, so I think it's important between 4 and 1.
4 and 1. Okay, do we have everybody? Let's move on. So where are we? SI 6?
No, 5.
5, sorry. And Anders, you're first, so the pressure's on now. I'm going alphabetically again. We won't skip anyone.
No, that's all right. I think number 2 is my top priority. And out of all this, I think 2 and 1.
Okay. Ann?
3.
Annie?
1 and 2.
Can I verify for Councilmember Snyder, you just said 3. Is there a
Yeah.
second choice? Or
Yeah,
is that
I can
four?
already see. Not one of the things
Right.
that I thought I got through is going to make it through. 3.
Councilmember Schneider, may I please ask that we be a team spirit here?
No, not when the whole work that we did the previous 2 ones is out the door. 3 is all I've got for 5. And there will not be one environmental aspect out of this whole entire goal setting.
It's our goals. It's not your goals.
Our goals in a time
Right.
when climate change is going to kill us.
Councilmember Schneider, we all have our priorities and we're trying to put them together and come together. And I would really request that you be respectful to Kathy and to our staff. They do not deserve a temper tantrum.
Okay, let's move on and we'll talk to Ann in a little while. Annie?
I think I did mine already.
All right, yes, you did. Gina?
Number 3 and number 1.
And Ruben?
1 and 4.
But you can't do 4, I thought.
No, is it a tie?
Mm-mm.
No, you have
Yeah,
to.
3 and 4 were tied,
Top
yeah.
3,
No,
top 3.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
If they're tied, you can do it. If they're tied, you can do it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, if I may make just one quick comment. Madam Mayor, can I make one quick comment?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, the Downtown Business Association was actually originally my initiative, but I think in the interest of all of this, I think this Downtown Business Association initiative could be citizen-led effort. So the involvement from the city hall would be just be a supporting role to all of this. Whether or not it makes it to the strategic initiative, I'm gonna make sure that I'm a part of that process, and I'll make sure that works. And if the city would just agree to support that effort, I would certainly appreciate it. But I think for the most part, it's going to be a citizen-led effort here.
I'm sorry, Councilmember, this is different from the VID, is that correct?
Yes, it is
Okay,
different
I'm
than,
sorry, I'd like to change my vote. 1 and 3, please.
Okay, let's move on to SI6. And then we'll tally up.
You forgot Gina
Did I forget Tina?
on
Gosh.
SI5.
I
No,
thought
no, I thought I did it.
You did it, Tina. I think you did it.
I did.
Did you have Gina? Okay.
I apologize, you're correct.
Just counting, vote often and whatever, but okay.
Okay, number 6, Anders.
Number 4 and
I'm sorry, should
Number
number 4 be,
Number 4
Eliminated.
should not even be in there
There wasn't
because
a
it has,
tie.
it's not the top, in the top
Top
3.
3.
Sorry.
so what? Just the top
One,
3
two,
here?
or- 1, 2, or 3.
Voting on the top 3 unless they're ties.
Well, number 2 and number 1.
Okay, I'm going to skip Ann for the moment and come back to her. Annie
1, 2,
1 and 2. Gina,
3 and 1.
Ruben,
2 and 1.
Annie, if you're there, would you please put in a vote for initiative
My
number
name is
6?
Ann and it's
I mean,
1.
sorry, Ann, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so now with Elaine and Eduardo's help,
Hey Kathy, I hate to interrupt.
No, go
On
ahead.
strategic initiative 4, Councilmember Fun picked number 4 as his first choice. So if we can go back.
It had 5 votes. It's a tie, though. It's a tie with number 3.
it's fair game.
Okay, good.
all right,
Can I get clarification, though? We said no sandbagging, and so if somebody casts 1 vote, it's only 2.
Right.
okay. How are we doing, Elaine and Eduardo?
When did I vote once? I voted once on 3 categories.
We're not worried about it. Let's just move on, please.
To be honest, if we'd had time to discuss these, there's nothing more we can do to encourage building electrification. Short of putting ahead rebates to help people buy things. Some of these don't make sense in terms of a real, actual thing to do in a year's time.
And
Let's just stay on, we're on number, did we finish all of them?
We've
Yeah,
done them all. We're
let's
waiting
look
for
at,
the
let's
tally.
look at the votes and then we'll have a discussion.
And Ann, I'd like to just say to you, I've mentioned at both prior meetings that I think as global warming is of varying interest to everyone, that spending a decent amount of time discussing the possibilities relative to the city, perhaps through a meeting just talking about the opportunities for things the city can do in that area might be beneficial. And I think it would help solve both the problem and your angst at this, because I don't
My
think
angst,
anyone,
Kathy, last year I was mayor. You would think I would have gotten to do one thing that I might have wanted to do as mayor, but housing and COVID took up all of it. And we
Yeah.
had 2 people die in December. This is my field, my profession. If we don't do things, more people will die.
I know.
It is that simple.
I know. And I think that everybody.
Let's stick to
I think
the goal
let's go
setting.
on with this,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to this later. Okay, so do we have some numbers?
I think they're on the screen. No?
Hi, Kathy. We'll just need we're still
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Hard when there's so much to get done. And it has been a tough couple of years for everybody, I believe, in varying different ways. And there are all kinds of opportunities, but they are, thank goodness you all are here because you care and represent different interests of all the people in the city. And it's critical for the city's success. And none of it is unimportant.
Can we see the next page, please?
Eduardo, if you can just shift the screen, please, to the 4 to 6 SIs.
It might still be tallying the vote, but
We changed our counting method, so that may have done it for them. I don't know. Because now we have to not look at old votes because it's a 2 vote, 1 vote kind of thing. So
This is right when you wish you were in a room and could get up and have a snack.
I know I was thinking of a glass of wine myself. Oh gosh.
That's a
Well,
key.
despite the frustration, it's progress just because you have to make choices and it's hard to make choices. And with, as the city grows and gets more business and more hotel tax, things will, opportunities will be there for all the things that aren't getting done in the next year.
That's assuming the ballot measure was one of our top.
Yeah, well, that's true. Oh gosh.
I'm under the assumption that our staff is still trying to tally the vote.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll be patient.
I had my grandson here the first night tallying votes because I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to do it and talk. And so there were a lot more choices then.
We've been keeping independent tallies and they all checked out. So
Good, great.
I think Elaine's ready to.
Now they're updating the.
There is a format where you can vote and it goes like right on the screen. We might try to get that next time.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll all be in person. That would be
Sure.
nice.
That's nice to have.
So Elaine, all the old votes go away. Okay. Otherwise it's too
Those
confusing.
are the new ones.
The new ones need to be in place instead of the old ones, right?
Yep. What you're seeing on the screen is the vote that they
Good.
just.
Great. All right, so the first 2 on SI1, the last one, we have no choice, it's in progress. So that means, I'm sorry to say for those of you that voted for it, number 3 is gone. Because if we have more than 2, or we can leave it up and have it as, this is the waiting list as the money is spent.
Yeah, we'll have a waiting list, guys.
So the first 2 will go into this year's budget on each one. And then the highest voted, they're not necessarily 1 and 2 on the list. That is. And the next one, we may have to put all 3 and make a decision.
Oh, seriously, we got another tie?
Yeah, but improving street roads and medians is part of the budget, and accountability is not a budget plan. So it's actually 2 good things to tie.
All right, what is number in 3? We've got number 1 tie, says 6, but it's no longer number 1 tie, it's now number 1. And number 2 is number 2. So
I got a question, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Can I get some clarification on what does it mean by support all communities in need, food insecurity and housing insecurity and childcare? I mean, I'm sure we're supportive, but I just want to get some more concrete, precise scope of what this all means.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like, I think I came up with that one. So it's like, it's so overly broad. It's like, that kind of relates to the life moves, it relates to the secure, relates to a whole bunch of things here.
Yeah, before you take that out, I'm sorry, as Gina was trying to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it would even include, well, no, it wouldn't, but anyway, it's all inclusive, but I think I was leaning more towards, continuing life moves, making sure we have people who are, don't lose their homes. It's more like the homeless. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry, I can't be more specific. I wasn't prepared. Oh,
Come on, we've been working on this for a month, Benny, and it won, so let it go.
It won. Talk
Now
about
you have to write a job
When
description.
you grill me on the density bonus. Come on,
Yeah.
Mayor.
Gina,
Anders, I asked
Gina,
before. I didn't get a definition on that one before.
Gina,
So,
on your project, let me just get clarification since it didn't make it, correct?
It did make it.
It did make it. It did make it.
Oh, golly, after that huge robbery in Walgreens last week. Okay. One of the activities it could be in terms of feeding people is to get a citywide gleanings program going. And that is to recover food that people grow at home and get it to the food banks. So there are some immediate actions that can be taken from that.
Perfect.
Great idea. Can we
Ma-
move to the second slide and look at what happened in the next next three?
Madam Mayor, if I make one more comment, sorry, we could back up one slide.
Sure, yes.
I promise I'll.
We need to back up again. I'm sorry, Eduardo. 1 to 3, back.
Oh, okay,
Thank-
good. So the downtown police foot patrol, this is already budgeted, it's already agreed upon, it's already in the work. I mean, so that makes it a go, right? I hope.
It makes it that's already being done. It's on the to-do list
It's-
already.
It's only funded for this fiscal year.
And I don't
Okay.
think it includes community policing and implementation of neighborhood watch. I think the only thing that's budgeted is downtown foot patrols.
Yeah. But
And
it
that's-
stays on this list. Is that not correct, Kathy?
No, in
They
July,
removed the
it will
third
be
goal.
unfunded because
So
it's
it-
goal number 3.
It would go into the budget for the year that the city is preparing the fiscal year if it was voted in the top 2, but it didn't get into the top 2, so it won't go into that budget until all of a sudden there's enough money and you can move in the ones that are number 3.
Yeah, but my point is, it's supporting communities in need is not a budget item. So when we talk about quality of life and budget, it'll make the budget. So
I don't think that's the one we're talking about because that one's in. We're talking about the neighborhood watch policing.
it's right there, number 3, downtown police foot patrols.
Right.
Everybody's worried it's not, it can make the budget because not all of these are budget items.
Should we look at the other 3 and then come back and parse them? Let's just see where we are, okay? So the top 3 here are number 1 and number 3. The other 2 are tied, and I think we should get maybe rid of both of them so we can keep one of the others. How do you feel about that? I guess people that voted for it don't feel good about it, but
Well, it's the rules right now. It's what we're doing to all of them. So let's do it.
We'll cry later, those of us who voted for them.
well, they're not going away. It's just a matter of top priorities for this time.
I understand.
And so the I-5 is, the first 2 are the first 2. And I-6, first one is the first one and the second one is the second one. So that's a good one for the environment, the electrification. All right, so here we have basically 12 initiatives.
Don't I get to cry about not getting my supercharger again?
Yes, yes, I'll cry with you.
You got childcare twice.
The Chevron station has superchargers. The new city parking lot will have superchargers.
All right, so if we take, now we have 12. That's still, are there any easy ones that we can take off this list? Because Tom's goal is 9 or 10 to have it be feasible for the staff and the budget.
I know it's
Kathy-
Rubens,
Kathy,
but
I'll-
if you look at encouraging electrification, the best we could probably do is do an ordinance mandating any permit at a multifamily dwelling has to install chargers in an apartment complex.
I think we already
There's-
did that.
I
As part of the reach code, right?
I don't think it came down to any permit that an MFD would come up to. I don't think it went that far. I'd have to go back and look at it. That's why encouragement to me as a goal sounds good, but it doesn't mean
Yeah, you
something.
could take it off if you want.
So,
I mean, the other
um,
option then is that we would agree to come up with $10,000 to give to the first 3 apartment managers to install it. You know, you put money behind that. That's,
I think tying it back to the previous, discussion that we were having and sort of what Kathy was saying is maybe, it's been going on 2 years now since we approved, about 2 years since we approved our climate action plan. So maybe worth having some type of a follow-up meeting to see how we're doing and what still needs to be done on that.
could be the bigger picture is how many of the new housing laws are taking our ability away to do environmental work. Anton Apartments being the perfect example of basically ignoring and avoiding almost every environmental improvement.
Madam Mayor, if I may,
Yes, please.
Kathy, can you fast forward one slide, please?
Yes, thank you. I was just going to ask the
Okay.
same. Thank you, Anders.
Thank you.
We could, just as a thought to, as you all are speaking to this, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We
All right.
could take off, we've got we could take off the bottom ones, a couple of the bottom, the least voted for.
Hey, Kathy, maybe I can jump in here and help since you're.
Yeah, please. Yeah, this is your
you know,
knowledge. Tom.
I
Thank you.
think I can manage to these
Okay,
and we can, put a budget to it and,
all right, great.
realistically, get this in the queue, get it in the budget. And I think I can manage to what the council's like.
For the top 2 for each then.
The top 2 on each.
Yeah.
And then the others will become the wait list for when we get some money or when you all get some money to, that's the next priorities.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sorry, Madam Mayor, if I may just say something real quickly here. Councilmember Holliber, I think, in terms of encouraging building electrification, I think the most effective way to do it is do it through PCE, of which I am, a member of, right? They've got a couple $100 million in there, and then they would throw some rebates out to, ask people to change out their water heaters and their gas stove. I think that is going to make a much bigger impact, much quicker impact to seeing the entire county doing it rather than just doing it along as a standalone city. So I'm happy to work with you on that one. But I think enhancing the parking authority and parking strategy citywide, I think that's really key to instigating the changes that we all envision our downtown to be. Without that, it's going to be hard to make progress in our downtown redevelopment and re-envisioning our downtown. So I think I'm really hoping and lobbying for support for that, parking authority, because I think that's really key. And
Well,
building
you have my support, council member.
I thought we had a parking authority.
expanding
Enhance, grow.
hands and making it bigger, making it better.
It might be
That's right.
easier if we knew what the first one was doing.
But I think, in terms of building that electrification, will be a lot more effective, if we work collaboratively with PCE on it, which I'm happy to work with you, Councilmember Oliver.
Can we look at, can you go one more, please? One more slide or a back one? Yeah. So Gina, with all due respect, for number 2 on SI3, since you can't define it, would you be willing to take it out? And-
It over, Madam Mayor, so it kind of over, if we can get the childcare fee and the other one, I'd be willing to, yes, allow number 3 to come up on that one, but well, I was gonna ask a question because we have the other, all those fees listed in the other section there, the 3 of them.
Yes,
What does that entail? Does it entail we have to do I think the county has all the information we would need for childcare. So I don't think we'd be starting at 1 on a fee schedule for that. And then the climate stuff, I mean, I hate recreating the wheel here. We should be able to get those type of fees lined up pretty quickly.
I agree. So what I'm asking is it was you and I that voted on number 2.
Okay, I'm willing. I'm being collaborative here.
So I would like to withdraw my vote and put it to 3.
It's fine.
And if you do the same, then we can move that up.
Okay.
So we're deleting number 2, moving those 4 votes.
We're,
number
we're-
3.
we're elevating number 3 and then putting the other one in back up.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I think only because I think it's covered in other sections.
Agreed.
So the downtown police is being eliminated.
No,
No,
it's being
No,
moved.
no.
It's the other.
We're moving it up.
The way around, yeah.
having number 2.
Great. Good. Makes sense. So number 4 will be deleted. I mean, number 3 will be deleted under SI3.
Yes, please.
And number 3 will be deleted under SI1.
Yes, please.
It really wasn't pointed out there's a tie on that one either.
Yeah,
the-
now, anyone want to move their votes on SI2 between 2 and 3? We should try to take one on.
Yeah, I mean, you got the general plan, downtown plan, and then you've got downtown plan and reimagine El Camino. It's kind of like,
Well, you
Yeah.
got the medians in there.
We're looking at SI2 right now.
Yeah, the medians. I'm not gonna,
Sorry,
I
that
don't want to
one,
read.
the SI1 number 3, that was not one of the top 3 that was voted upon, right? That,
That's already in, that's
Yes.
already in the works, so that's.
Just take it
that's
off.
not-
well, now hold
That's-
on, we're just leaving
That's
it,
one progress.
it's in progress.
It's not part of the goal setting. We get it.
It can be taken off because it's already in progress.
Yes.
I mean,
So,
I've been
wait,
trying getting traumatized.
earlier we talked about leaving them on in case we get really lucky and get a lot of things done. And now the historical
They are being left on.
designation and the landscape work to go with the turf moratorium is gone.
It's not gone,
Not
Councilmember
gone.
Schneider. It's on a different list.
It's on the wish list for next steps. when
Yes.
the
And
money
Ma-
comes in.
Mayor, if I could help out here. So we are keeping tabs of all of the 5 goals within each of the initiatives. We're just narrowing it down to prioritization
Right.
for building our budget. But we will keep track, as we've been discussing, if we do increase our revenue, you know, TOT turns around, et cetera, then we will be adding these back. But right now, these are the top priorities. So we're not deleting these. We have all of the 5 that were
Six.
that were chosen. We're just trying to get it to these 2 for this particular sheet.
Did we pass, is the ballot initiative for the TOT, did that pass?
Well, let's go in order here, Gina, please. Okay, so we're on the SI2 and we have
SI2.
we have a tie.
And so would anyone like to move their votes so that one of these can have more than the other and we can remove one?
Did I only vote 1 on this?
Repeat, please. Where are we?
You're on
Two,
SI2.
SI2.
Slide 2, number 2 and 3 are tied. And we'd like to know if anyone would like to move their votes so that it will be easier to delete one of these or not delete, postpone until the more money comes in.
And do we have Elaine, by any chance, did you keep tallies of the votes? Councilmember Schneider wants to know if she voted on only one.
I'm pretty sure I only voted on one, but check.
There's 15 votes cast.
And we're only counting because of the rule that was established. If a council member only votes for one, we're only counting it as 2, not 3.
But she may want to cast her second vote right now.
But if 15 votes were cast, then all
But
5
to be honest,
council members.
I'm fine with that. I cannot,
Yeah,
in
I
good
think on this end we
conscience,
voted.
not be able to practice from noise, but plant trees on El Camino Real. So I'll stay where I am.
Okay, let's move to the next slide and we'll come back to this because it's just a dangling thing that let's see how we're doing over here. Here it looks like we're okay in terms of 2 for each. So we've got 12 plus the one that is dangling, 13. Who would like to take their vote off one of those? Now let's go back to SI 1 through 3. These should be okay. Everybody feel strongly? Anybody want to move a vote from water plan and improvements down?
Nope, we're all good.
All right. Tom, any ideas?
I'm sorry, Tom, number 2 under SI2, accountability measures and schedules for city problems. Shouldn't that be part of every project automatically?
Yeah, that's why when I said earlier and I looked at what the council came up with, I said I could manage to everything I could manage to the 3 top goals that were identified.
I could move mine to number 3. if that makes it easier.
But
Yeah,
yes,
but-
there are some, for example, I think the mayor brought up under SI6, number 2, there's no budget impact. This goal also has no budget impact. So that's what I'm evaluating as we're looking at this and saying, okay, yeah, these are your goals. Obviously, also staff. These don't have budget impacts. These other ones, that's why I could live, with what the council had selected and manage to that realistically, right? That we
Good.
can budget to
So-
it right now.
So does that mean we're done?
Well, wait, Councilmember Oliver has a comment. I think that
Okay, yeah.
nobody's
I
heard.
said I'd be willing to move my second vote from number 2 to number 3 on SI2.
So number 3, so that would put improved street road medians, especially on El Camino, in a second position.
Yes.
And accountability measures and schedules for city projects is deleted on the wait list.
Wait,
It's already, it's
it's
just,
going to be done anyway, probably.
Yeah, it's going to be done anyway.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
That's right.
So it was a suggestion from one of you on your questionnaire that is really something that's going to happen no matter what. So I think this list now is fine.
I need to see number 5 again, please.
Okay. Next slide, please. There.
Okay, no, I'm good now. Okay, thanks.
And perhaps Eduardo and Elaine, you could send these 2 slides to everybody. Just because, will that be helpful to you all?
We can cry ourselves to sleep.
Well,
yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
Kathy, we'll put this together for the council and then the public and put it up on our website and
Good, great. Okay. Well, I think you all have done a fabulous job.
no, I think you did a fabulous job.
You're very kind. It's a hard thing to do. Choices are tough. And from 95 to this number is extraordinary. So keep up the good work and thank you very much. And please have some planning for sustainable, long-term sustainability. I'm all for it.
it's more fun on that old game Sim City that was the most popular game, 15, 20 years ago.
Love it. Next time we'll play Jeopardy instead. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Good
for the
night.
great work. I know it's
Kathy,
difficult. Thank you.
Yes, Kathy, thank you
Thanks,
very,
everyone.
very much.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll miss seeing you all.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye.
Council meeting adjourned at